It is entirely, completely Jake's fault that we're starting 5 minutes late. It is entirely his fault. He is fired.
It is on me.
This is Jake's last show. I'm just kidding. Everybody that's been a part of our show has been fired at some point. Just kind of just a running thing we got going on. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, we're all just working for free. With that said, we are back today. We have 2 Milwaukee Brewer games to discuss. Unfortunately, the Brewers are down 0-2, but we're going to talk about the first 2 games of the NLCS, as well as kind of give an outlook for what's ahead of them. Also, doing our Milwaukee Bucks primer today, we're going to talk about the additions, the departures, what the offense and defense outlook looks like, and then give our record and bold predictions as well with that. And then we are going to have a abbreviated Badger football recap and preview, just essentially like we did last week. We cut it down to one big takeaway from each of our aspects in the recap and one goal for each of our aspects as for a preview. So reducing that down just because of where the program is at the current state. And we're also trying to make it easier for us to dedicate some more time to Badger basketball where we feel the time is better spent. So we're going to hit the intro and start with the Brewers.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatic Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so unfortunately, we don't get to start off 2-0 like we did in the NLDS, but hopefully it does end up better. The thing about being down 0-2 is that the job is only halfway done if you're the Dodgers. You still got to win 2 more times. The Brewers, if they can win at least twice in LA, will guarantee themselves another home game at least and still have a chance to keep themselves alive. So as long as the Brewers can win 2 out of 3 in LA, they'll have a chance to win the series at home. Which I would say is the best case scenario. Obviously, the perfect scenario would be winning 3 games on the road, but getting kind of ahead of what's next. But let's start with Monday night. Really, I mean, both of these games, it's really unfortunate that the Brewers just ran into 2 of the best postseason pitching performances of all time from Blake Snell and Yoshimbu Yamamoto, who they were able to rough up back in July. But looking at game 1, Aaron Ashby opened, gave up a leadoff walk to Ohtani, helped by 1 missed strike, I would say. He went 1-2-3 after that. Quinn Priester followed, allowed a walk in his first inning pitch in the second inning, but no damage. Top of the third, started with a 10-pitch at-bat, ends in a ground out, and then an 8-pitch at-bat, ending in a flyout for Shohei Ohtani to cap a 1-2-3 third inning. I thought that was a really good job by Quinn Priester. Bottom of the third inning, Caleb Durbin got the Brewers' first hit and immediately got picked off of second base. I get that they're trying to be aggressive, and that's kind of what we do. But to have 1 hit through 3 innings and then make an out on the bases when you're having enough trouble at the plate didn't feel great. That felt like a time where maybe you needed to adjust a little bit and maybe be a little bit more conservative in that situation.
Yep.
Get to the top of the 4th inning, starts with a walk, 2 1-out singles, and the Dodgers have bases loaded with 1 out. And Max Muncy was inches away from a grand slam. Inches away from a grand slam. Sal Frelick was able to get his glove on it, keep it in the park, let it touch the wall to make it a live ball, which nobody noticed except for the left field umpire, who did a fantastic job of making that call. He made the right call the whole way. The home plate umpire also made the right call the whole way. That's actually really good job umpiring, so I wanted to give that credit. Sal Frelick catches the ball. Relays it into Joey Ortiz, throws home to William Contreras for a force out at home plate on a ball hit 404 feet. And then Contreras, realizing that Will Smith is still standing at second base, jogs over to third and turns one of the craziest double plays that you will ever see. I mean, we could probably go another decade and not see another play like that.
I'm pretty sure that was the first one ever.
I believe what I saw, it was the second longest double play in MLB postseason history.
I gotta say, all the memes coming out with Sal's face,
dude.
So
his hat falls off, his hair's flowing everywhere. He turns around into the face he's making as he's throwing the ball in. Then he sees that an out gets called at home, and they pan back to him, and you can read his lips. He goes, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah.
as he's walking in, because Sal didn't realize that the ball hit the wall. Sal thought he made a catch. Sal didn't see that the ball touched the wall. Isaac Collins didn't see that the ball touched the wall. Even more credit to the umpire for catching that. But Sal was like, okay, why is the guy sliding into home plate? No, that's a double play. And again, credit to Sal for acting with urgency in that situation. He didn't know it was a live ball, but obviously didn't want to allow a sac fly in that situation either. Mm-hmm. So, and a great relay by Joey Ortiz. And just, I mean, stars kind of aligned for that one to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Would have been more fun if it ended up in a win, but it is what it is. Then you get to the top of the fifth inning, and not so much luck, but more masterclass, I would say, is the fifth starts with a double and a ground out. Shohei Ohtani is intentionally walked with first base open to set up a right-handed hitter versus Quinn Priester. And he gets a sharp double play from Mookie Betts in this situation. And I have to give credit to Pat Murphy for that situation. Mm-hmm. Recognizing you have an open base, not having to bring in another lefty yet because Caney was warming at that point, not having to bring in another lefty yet. Mm-hmm. You have the base open, so you put the lefty on, then you can get to Mookie Betts with Quinn Priester, your ground ball guy, and it worked out perfectly. Mm-hmm. And I just want to put a pin in that because it does kind of tie into game two when it comes to Freddie Peralta and his extra inning. But great work by Pat Murphy, great work by Quinn Priester, great work by the infield to get that double play. That was great work. Top of the sixth, Chad Patrick gave out a 1-out solo moonshot to Freddie Freeman, who shouldn't even be on the Dodgers, but he's there. And he's good. He's obviously an MVP. He's obviously won rings. Like he's good. Him and
Gold Glover,
both wish were in different uniforms, so I could actually like them.
Right, I agree. Same thing with Mookie Betts.
People and players,
yeah.
And Mookie Betts too. Even that's fair.
Yeah, I love Mookie Betts. He's a great athlete, dude. He's so good. He's so athletic. He's good at all sports. Like you've seen him play football, basketball. Like he's good at all sports. He's super athletic.
He's like a championship bowler too, isn't he?
Yeah, like he's super good at bowling. Like I would love, dude. If he went somewhere else, I'd be like, yeah, dude. I'm a huge Mookie Betts fan. Like as long as it's not like LA or Chicago or New York, like I'm game. And Boston.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So a 1-2 single to Will Smith and a walk to Tommy Edman. He had him 2-2, let him go. Jared Caney came in. He did get a flyout, did get a couple lucky calls to get to an 0-2 situation and got a strikeout on a check swing. Caney got a 1-2-3 7th inning. Bottom of the 7th inning, Brewers go 1-2-3. Nobody was touching Blake Snell's off-speed stuff. Nobody could touch it. It was tough to watch. I respect Blake Snell. I do not respect the Dodgers as an organization, but they got some insane pitching performances in games 1 and 2. Top of the 8th, Trevor McGill allowed a 1-out single to Freddie Freeman, did get a flyout, and then had a 9-pitch at bat versus Tommy Edman, ending in a strikeout, which is noteworthy because Tommy Edman does not strike out very often. He's very hard to strike out. That's hence the 9-pitch at bat. Had to do a lot of work on a lot of foul balls there. Brewers respond in the bottom of the 8th by going 1-2-3. It's tough. Top of the 9th, Abner came in, allowed a walk, a single, a bunt to advance 2 runners, and then the Brewers intentionally walked him to fill the bases to create the force out. And Abner fell behind 3-0 to Mookie Betts and then walks him to make the game 2-0. That's a situation where Abner Uribe is probably a little bit overused, but you're in the playoffs. It's not the time to be worrying about overuse. We're emptying the tank.
Yep.
We're literally emptying the tank because if we lose 2 more times, our season's over.
Yep.
So we're not trying to preserve people's arms anymore. Obviously, we don't want to put them in a position to hurt themselves, but being tired isn't an option anymore.
No, not at all.
So bottom of the 9th, things got interesting. They brought in Roki Sasaki. Brewers had the 7, 8, 9 hitters coming up. Isaac Collins did a good job to get on base with a 1-out walk. They brought in Jake Bowers for Joey Ortiz, who did swing at ball 4, but it did work out for him after hitting a ground rule double. Got Churiota to the plate with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, and I'm like, all right, this is where I felt like the Brewers could win this game. They absolutely would have stolen this game. Pat Murphy described it the same way. Blake Snell shoved, and they had an opportunity to steal this game from the Dodgers. We'll talk about, kind of what we think about that in a minute, but put Lockridge at second base to run for Jake Bauers. That is literally the only reason he's on the roster.
Yep,
Lockridge
we talked
is
about it
good.
immediately as it happened. I was like, Lockridge on second now.
That's exactly why Braden Lockridge is on this team.
Yep.
If Chourio hits a ground ball single to right field, you are sending Lockridge.
Yep.
You are 100,000,000% sending Lockridge with a chance to win the game in that situation. So you put your fastest guy out there and give him a chance to win you the game. Chourio did hit a sac fly, made the game 2-1, put a runner on third for Christian Yelich, who drew a walk. Pretty tough at bat. Drew a walk. Stole second. William Contreras drew a walk to set the stage for Bryce Terang, who got to 2-2 in part due to a breaking ball that came across at the knees and brushed him back from the plate. Now, there's been a lot of discourse on this because I think it's unreasonable to expect Bryce Terang to take a hit by pitch in that situation. Even with his own hindsight, he would say, like, I wish I had taken the hit by pitch. And I'm sure he does wish that he had. But expecting somebody to get hit by a pitch when your entire instinct is always to get out of the way, there's no overriding that instinct in the amount of time that it takes you to blink.
Yeah.
So to be in that situation too, you can make the case for some situational awareness. If a ball is coming at me, I should let it hit me. It's not a situation that anybody is in frequently, that you're in the bottom of the ninth inning with bases loaded with 2 outs and understanding that a hit by pitch ties the game. That's a very infrequent situation. When you have a guy at the plate who they will make plenty of comments about it, is used to being at the plate and having opportunity to hit with power, Bryce Terang's thinking about getting a hit to win the game, not getting hit to tie the game.
Yeah.
And I will say I think that goes into a little bit of the swing and miss for strike 3. And I saw some people making the comment that the pitch before, the one that brushed him back, was a bit of a 12-6 pitch, a pitch that dropped from the top of the zone into the zone, and that's what he was swinging for. And you and I had a conversation about this, and my take on it was I could understand if it was like a baseball or 2 above the strike zone. The pitch came across at his eyes.
Yeah.
I get being rattled that you almost got hit by a pitch. Take your time out.
Dude, that was my point too. Like, bro,
lock back in. This is NLCS. This isn't March 13th of a spring training game where you can let your focus dip.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time out, get back in, swing at a good pitch. The pitch came across at his face. Like I said, if it's a ball or 2 above the strike zone and he swings under it, the high fastball, I get it. If it comes across at the collarbone, 6 inches higher than that even is where that pitch was. I have no defense for that pitch. I don't even care that the pitch before it, that the pitch before the one that brushed him back was a pitch that dropped. I don't care if it dropped a foot. If the pitch that he swung at drops a foot, it's still not a strike. That's everything I have to say about Game 1. Sorry I didn't let you jump in there at all, but I mean, that's really what it was to me, was a pitching dominance by Blake Snell and a chance to win, and then it felt like it was yanked away by Bryce Terang swinging at a really bad pitch. And I'm not saying Bryce Terang is the only reason that they lost. Obviously, they had 8 innings of opportunity before that they didn't really do anything with. But what were your thoughts on Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, letting Blake – first of all, how the hell are they allowed to win the title and then sign Blake Snell? That's just unreasonable, unsustainable.
And Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah. If there is ever an example that needs to be put on the screen for America that baseball needs a salary cap, it is the Brewers versus the Dodgers. Because both teams are coached well. I don't think Dave Roberts has to do much coaching, in my opinion. I mean, they just buy all-stars, gold glovers, Cy Young Award winners, MVPs.
Yeah.
I mean,
top international prospects.
Yeah, a guy gets to do whatever he wants. I don't even know the name of the dude over in Japan right now that set the home run record for the Japanese league, but he's probably going to end up being a Dodger or a Giant. I
can
wouldn't
see
doubt
being
it.
an Angel, maybe
Angel. But he'll probably end up somewhere on the West Coast. And then he goes 8 innings, strikes out 10 people. It's like, oh boy. And I feel like I was watching the same at bat on replay. Take the first pitch, follow up the second pitch, and then he's going to give you either a curveball or a changeup, and you're just going to swing and miss, or you're going to roll over it. And I'm like, dude, can somebody do something different? Like, bunt. I don't care. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of bunting like you are, but like, Jesus Christ, make them come off the mound a little bit. Like, make them work a little bit, make them sweat a little bit. Like, all year long, you know, the thing about the Brewers going against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have great pitching. They have great starting pitching. They're all healthy now, which sucks, of course, right? But, you know, the thing about the Brewers is they were fighters at the plate, and they were selective in their pitches that they were swinging at. And, you know, they didn't really show that in game one. And, you know, you can, like you said before about your topic about put a pin in it, you can put a pin in that too and go into game 2 if you wanted to in a sec. But the 9th inning, man, that is still haunting me, man. I would feel okay today if there was a split. Like, either game they split, I'd be like, okay,
Dodgers are good. Yeah, I understand split.
I can deal with a split. Yeah. Then I'd just be telling myself, okay, you have to win 1 of 2 on the road, or 1 of 3. Sorry, 1 of 3. You win 1 of 3 on the road. You know, if you split these home games, then you get 2 home games to try to go on to the World Series. Yeah. I could totally live with that. Now your back is completely against the wall. So I 100% agree with you with Terang. First of all, that is unreasonable to tell somebody to move. Your human nature is to be like, oh, this thing is coming at me very fast, and it's coming from my body, and that's going to hurt. I should just stay here and take it. Nobody can tell themselves to do that in the amount of time they have to think about when a pitch is coming. Nobody. No. It is humanly impossible. It is what it is. It sucks with I thought Contreras was going to be the guy to get the hit, to be honest with you, but I kind of felt like they were pitching around him.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, but then you just go on to game 2.
All right. So what did you take away from last night?
Oh, good God. Last night was worse. Last night was way worse. So first of all, in game 1, you have a guy go 8 innings when he could have quite literally just pitched the entire game. He could have had a complete game himself. Blake Snell could have. And then you actually allow somebody to have a complete game against you. And this is where I said to put a pin in that conversation because of the selective pitches they're swinging at. I felt like they turned the play style too much. They were too aggressive, I thought. You know, if you want to let certain guys, like Churriel is usually pretty aggressive. Obviously, he had a home run on the first pitch of the game.
Yep.
Churriel usually is a first pitch swinger. Yep. Every once in a while, to get a guy like Terang going, get a guy like, you know, Durbin going, those guys like to swing early once in a while too. Contreras sometimes.
Yeah, Contreras will ambush once in a while, yep.
Yeah, but Contreras, you kind of just – he's one of those guys as well as a hitter that you just kind of be like, okay, you go do what you got to do because he's good enough. He understands the strike zone, and you know he's been around enough. Same thing with Yelly. Now, I wanted to bring up Yelly because man, oh man, is he struggling. And we both brought him up as our X factor, and he has absolutely been the opposite of the X factor for the Brewers so far. As much as we love him, and as much as we want to praise him, and it's not fair to, you know, kick him while he's down, but he is struggling right now, and the Brewers' offense really needs a kickstart. Yeah. And he's just not been good.
I put in my notes that he looks lost versus breaking balls.
He really does. He's
fouled off fastballs, which is fine, but he looks lost. Looks lost versus breaking balls. Steve, hey, if we'll talk about where they're going from now, but I mean, we said it before with the Dodgers being up 2-0, they still got to win 2 more times. So, you know, we got at least 2 more games yet.
Hey, man, at the end of the day, the Brewers are still only 4 wins away from the World Series, right? You can look at it that way if you really wanted to. I understand that, you know, losing 2 also ends our season. But if you wanted to take the optimistic look at it and be like, hey, we got 4 wins I've seen the Brewers win 4 times in a row plenty of times this year.
Yeah, they
I've
got to
seen
win
them win
4 out of
4 in a
5.
row
What they have
versus.
to do.
I've seen them win 4 in a row versus the Dodgers this year.
Yep.
So it's not like it's this impossible feat.
Yeah,
but
I'm far from being at a the series is over kind of person. I literally actually just blocked somebody from our page on yesterday morning for saying that the series was over after game 1. It's literally not. Dodgers still have to win 2 more times. Even if they do it easily, even if the Dodgers win both games 20-0, they still have to do it. Still have to play the game. Still have to get 54 outs.
So I wanted to bring this up because I knew you were gonna kind of take this angle. What do we always say when we talk about baseball? We go like it's baseball, right? So while I was thinking about what I was going to say today, I wanted to kind of bring that full circle into the baseball thing, right? Who says the Brewers don't just go win 3? Nobody said they're not allowed to do that, bro. Like dead ass.
I was literally going to put it in the like the outlook for the rest of the series. If there's one team that you could pick to go win on the road in 2025, the pick would be the Brewers. They were literally the team with the best road record in baseball.
Yeah.
So if there's a team that you're going to pick to go win on the road, it's the Brewers.
And we're calling it Brew Magic. We're calling it Uke Magic. We're calling it all this stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, that'd be pretty goddamn magical in my opinion. We've seen some incredible comebacks in sports.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a precedent now. It's unlikely, but there is a precedent for it, and it's really strange because the Blue Jays are in the exact same position.
They are.
They lost both of their home games to start the series. And they lost much more handily than the Brewers did.
Oh, they were getting, especially game 2. They were getting
game 2. They got smacked.
Yeah, that was
But
tough.
there is a precedent for this. Teams are 3-25 in series when they're starting down 0-2. So there's been 3 teams to do it. Again, it's not a super likely thing, but the chances are not 0.
Yeah,
it's not over. So, is there anything else you want to say from last night yet?
I'll say this. I would say that the Brewers have a better chance of winning this series than the Badgers do of winning 1 game on Saturday. I honestly feel that way.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, the Brewers are a much better team at their sport than the Badgers are.
Yeah.
For me, looking at the pitching with this game last night, the pitch counts by inning is where I was like not feeling great about it. Again, if we would have been able to steal game 1 and we split going to LA, I'd feel much better, like you said. The Dodgers were able to add some insurance. Even when the Dodgers added their insurance runs, the Brewers still couldn't get strike calls on the edges, which was annoying. But I mean, the only good thing about the game last night was the first pitch that the Brewers saw.
Yep.
Jackson Chourio matched the Brewers game 1 total on the first pitch of game 2. There have been 3 leadoff home runs in Brewers playoff history. Jackson Chourio has 2 of them. The other one was Corey Hart in 2011. That makes Jackson Chourio the second player in baseball history with a leadoff home run, the youngest person also being Jackson Chourio. So we got some cool Jackson Chourio stats out of it. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got. Like we said, if they can win 2 out of 3 in LA, they give themselves a chance to win at home. If you can win 2 out of 3, win a series, then you have a chance to come home and win 2 playoff games at home to give yourself a chance at the World Series.
Yeah, it was also his 4th playoff home run, which tied him for the league lead in Brewers history for playoffs. Do you know the 2 players that he tied with? One you'll probably be able to guess. It's pretty obvious. The second one, there's no way you'll get it. I actually saw this today.
Is it like Ryan Braun and Jim Gantner?
Nope. Somebody that played with Braun, though. Pretty good. Good duo.
Was it Prince Fielder?
It was. That's one of them. The other guy you'll never get. I might as well just tell you.
Gorman Thomas?
No. Orlando Arcia, bro.
Fucking goddamn it! Why is he a part of that trivia?
Dude, he has 4 playoff home runs for the Brewers. I don't know.
That's random as hell.
It is, dude.
No, that would have been probably like the 58th name that I would have guessed.
At the very least, bro.
Damn. All right. Well, like we said, Brewers will have a chance. I mean, like I said, there's nothing over yet. Like the Dodgers still have to win 2 more times. The Brewers, if they want to move on, they have to win 4 out of 5. That's where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anything else you want to say on the Brewers?
Go get it done, man.
Yeah. Hopefully we have a bunch of games to talk about next week and some more preview to do.
Yeah.
All righty. That said, we're going to move on to the Milwaukee Bucks, and we have a Milwaukee Bucks primer. The Milwaukee Bucks start a week from today. So running through, we essentially have 4 departures. We're going to have at least 2 more, but right now the main departures are Brook Lopez, Damian Lillard, Pat Connaughton, and Jamari Bouye. Jamari Bouye was cut to make room for one of the additions, but just on the departures solely, Brook Lopez, it was time. We honestly thought he was going to retire.
Yeah.
At 37, but he's going to back up Ivica Zubac. So they have the 2 slowest, but also shot contestingest centers in basketball on their team.
They both set good screens.
And it works for them. I mean, it works for them to back up Ivica Zubac because he's a similar play style.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even old and slow Brook Lopez does kind of make sense as a backup there.
I agree.
Pat Connaughton, that one was a bummer, but we'd known it was coming. Like the salary relief was going to be necessary to make some stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Connaughton and Brook Lopez, they will both sign one-day contracts and retire as Milwaukee Bucks.
I really hope so.
Brook Lopez maybe not, but Pat Connaughton I would almost guarantee is going to retire as a Milwaukee Buck.
I can see that.
And then Damian Lillard, it was a really unfortunate situation. He was going to be back as basically 2026. He was not going to qualify for a disabled player exception to allow the Bucks to sign another free agent this year. So the Bucks, I mean, they had to do what they had to do. You only get one Giannis Antetokounmpo. You only get one. So they did what they had to do to be able to free some cap space to make another move that we'll talk about in a second. But I want to give Jake an opportunity to talk about the departures if there's anything you want to say.
Yeah, losing Dame obviously tough. I enjoyed the time here. He still gave us some great moments, but him going back to Portland, him leaving the Bucks and going back to the original team that he was on makes me feel a lot better in my heart. Yep. I won't lie about that. Yep. Losing Pat Connaughton, obviously a guy that both of us have liked for a long time. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of I'll say it like this, Bucks fans who will remember Pat Connaughton for the championship run that he was on, but me and you will remember him as the guy who every night, even on a random Tuesday, could be back-to-back, so Tuesday and a Wednesday, he's getting a bloody eye, he's diving into the crowd, he's hitting big-time threes, he's going down there getting rebounds. Pat Connaughton was a very good player for the Bucks for a long time.
He was a dirty work Swiss Army knife.
Great locker room guy, never caused any problems. He was a workout warrior with Giannis when Giannis was making his ascension to superstardom. So Pat Connaughton was a big player in the transition from the Bucks being, a middling franchise when they were going 40-42 when we were growing up to what they become when they were, 56 and 8 or whatever they were during the COVID year.
His time in Milwaukee directly coincides with the culture shift.
Yes, 100%. That's pretty much the point I'm trying to make, I guess. And
Gotcha.
I'm word vomiting all over everywhere, but great job by you, buddy. And Brook Lopez, another guy, just underappreciated. We tried to talk about it a lot last year. Really underappreciated for all the stuff that he was doing for the Bucks, especially his time here. I feel like it was a win-win for both parties. I'm talking the Bucks and Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez got to be on a national stage and show off the skills that his new skills that he had. He became known as a really good defender. He became known as a stretch big. Splash Mountain was born here. So, I mean, really good for both. He extended his career by a ton of years, got paid a ton of money by transforming his game. But being in Milwaukee and having some of the great coaches that we have here as well, we don't win the title without Pat Connaughton or Brook Lopez. Like
100%.
There's no discussion there. I love Brook Lopez. Hopefully his number will get retired for the Bucks. I could honestly see that. I think he's a fringe guy, but I could see that. Pat Connaughton just for the vibes. And yeah, that's my notes on the departures.
All right. So the additions that the Bucks made, obviously, Miles Turner, the fucking best option that we could have added to this Milwaukee Bucks.
Hell yeah.
They added two Antetokounmbos. They added Thanasis back, essentially the vibe master
Yep.
for the end of the bench. And then they added Alex Antetokounmpo. I'll say what I have for thoughts on that, but I'm going to let Jake talk about additions first. They added Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, Mark Sears, and then a late training camp invite was extended to Amir Coffey. Now, we're going to be at this point where two of these guys got to go.
Yep.
Mark Sears doesn't have to be one of them because he's a two-way,
Yep.
and Alex Antetokounmpo doesn't have to be one of them because
Also
he's a two-way. But between the rest of the roster, the Bucks have to get rid of two guys in the next 5 days. So give me your thoughts on the additions first, and then give me just a quick who the two you think are going to go.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be Cole Anthony.
It's not going to be Amir Coffey either. Just spoiler alert. Sorry.
Probably won't be Amir Coffey. Amir Coffey is he's a pretty good player. He's long, lengthy, can play multiple positions. He can shoot the three ball. He can attack the rim, and we're gonna talk about a little bit more contextual stuff. And Amir Coffey can run on the break and finish on the break as well.
Perfect role player to add. He
is a very good depth piece for the Bucks. Cole Anthony, another great add. The Bucks, they kind of tried to do it when they brought in Patrick Beverley, where they kind of needed a little bit of an attitude guy, a little bit of an edge guy. You get a guy with like Cole Anthony, a little bit younger legs. Like, no offense to Pat Bev, he would probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
Cole Anthony, younger legs, hungry, wants to win, and he wants to be part of a good culture. And you got a winner in the Bucks. You got a good culture in the Bucks. Now, obviously, Giannis kind of has the franchise in a chokehold a little bit, and I mean that in a respectful way, where he's like, "Listen, we're going to compete for a goddamn title, and that's the bottom line." And that's good. I love that. We need that. I don't want to be like, "Oh, yay, we made the playoffs. We're the 4 seed." No, I want to go for titles.
No.
The Bucks are now in the same position that the Packers were towards the end of Rodgers' career, where it's like, hey, we're going to do everything we can to try to go for titles every single year.
Yep.
And that's what the Bucks are doing right now. Obviously, Thanasis, love Thanasis. We've talked about it before. We talked about it last year. Just put the guy in a polo, dude. He can still sit on the end of the bench. I don't care where he sits in that area. Just put the guy in a polo. I understand that he still has love for the game and he wants to play, but that could really solve a lot of problems with the two players on the end of the bench situation, in my opinion. Mark Sears, I'm just going to talk about him real quick. That's a sneaky one, dude.
He's a bucket.
That's one that in a few years, when the Bucks are kind of in a weird transition period with the guards, especially, because they re-signed Kevin Porter Jr. for a 2-year deal. He has a player option after this year. They re-signed Ryan Rollins to a 3-year, $12 million deal with player option at that third year. Towards that time, Mark Sears could be. I'm just saying,
NBA contract, not a two-way.
Yeah, that's an interesting ad. That's really nicely done by the Bucks. And then obviously talking about Miles Turner. I mean, dude,
my king is finally here.
You literally could not put a better player next to Giannis.
I've said it for half a decade now. The only other guy that would fit next to him better would be Anthony Davis, and that's just obviously not happening.
Right.
So Miles Turner is 1B.
Yeah, it's so nice to have Turner be able to set screens, and Brook had his moments where he dunked on a couple people, but Miles Turner could legitimately dunk on you every play. Just the same way I feel about Giannis.
Outside the lane and dunk on somebody.
Yeah, it's insane. He could also shoot 40-footers. No, not 40-footers, but 30-footers. He could maybe shoot a 40-footer. I don't know. Might go in. We'll probably see it this year. But Splash Mountain is back, is all I know. He's going to be running and gunning. He's going to have this team playing a lot faster on both ends of the court. The defense especially is going to be, oh, my God. The defense is going to be so nice. And, you bring up a guy like Amir Coffey. Imagine Amir Coffey at the small forward with Giannis and Miles Turner. Oh, that front court is just filthy, dude. Filled with length and athleticism.
The free agent wish list that we had, and Miles Turner and Amir Coffey are both on my list, and now they're both on the Bucks. I'm just like,
man, dude, I don't know who to take off this team. I like a lot of the moves they made, honestly. If I really had to pick, probably getting rid of Taurean Prince. If I had to choose, I don't know. That's a tough choice. And Pete Nance is still a two-way, right? Or is he on the roster?
He's two-way.
Okay. God, I'm sorry to say this, but I don't see much need for Andre Jackson Jr. I'm just going to be honest with you, bro. I
Before I say who I think could be cut, I hope that Jon Horst has a 0-day trade in him and is able to do a 2-for-1. And I'm hoping it's Kyle Kuzma and Ajax for DeMar DeRozan.
Oh.
Is what I'm hoping can be possible.
Dude, if that happens, I'm going to have to change my bold predictions.
Fucking A, right? Like, yeah, it's not, you're adding another 35-year-old to the team, but, I mean.
I don't give a shit. He can attack the rim and he can hit middies like the best of them, dude.
But assuming no moves are made, the two that I would let go would be Gary Harris and, unfortunately, Chris Livingston.
Gary Harris. Yeah.
I guess I don't really see a need for him unless Gary Trent Jr. is injured. And now Gary Harris is injured, which I think is part of why he might get cut. Yeah. And then Chris Livingston, if I'm looking at him and Amir Coffey and I'm saying who can help us win a championship more this year with their length, it's Amir Coffey. As much as I am a Chris Livingston fan and I believe he's got potential.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you that Ajax is also one that could be waived.
Yeah, I think Chris Livingston and Ajax are kind of a coin flip. In my head, I kind of just went with Chris Livingston because he has a little bit more in the bag on offense, I guess.
And I think he's stronger, too. Wisconsin Sports on the go. Just wanted to say, love what you guys do and your dedication, keeping sports positive, finding the good, love it, and try to do that myself, but sometimes would suck at it. Hey, sometimes things aren't great, and sometimes you just kind of have to confront the reality of it. But I really think the Bucks have an opportunity to be kind of sneaky good. And for me, looking at the offense outlook, I think they're going to be fast.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to pick up the pace a lot this year. Oh, yeah. We saw one instance in the preseason where AJ Green's letting a logo 3 fly 5 seconds into the shot clock.
I love AJ Green, bro. He's such a vibe.
He's coming up. Spoiler alert.
Such a vibe.
But they're embracing the 4-out shooters with Giannis. The ideal starting lineup looks like it is going to be Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., AJ Green, Giannis, and Miles Turner. With then Cole Anthony, Ryan Rollins, Bobby, Kuzma, Jericho Sims, Taurean Prince, and Amir Coffey as your wing role players. And with that comes better transition because the Bucks got significantly younger and more athletic this offseason. So I'm very, very intrigued with how this Bucks team is going to look, especially offensively, because I think they're moving towards what Oklahoma City did, was having one superstar, one backup star, and then a bunch of role players. And that's how they won it. Sports radio is tough. Some fans try to bring out the worst in everything. They absolutely do. Said I agree, though. Could be a sneaky team, especially if Green and Kuzma can come along. I love Miles Turner, and I think Porter could be very underrated. I still don't think enough people are giving Jon Horst enough credit for turning Marjon Beauchamp into Kevin Porter Jr.
Dude, seriously. Kevin Porter Jr. is a legit bucket, and when he stops with the goddamn jump passes, he's actually a decent playmaker.
Yeah, I agree. He's
playing a faster play style totally fits him, dude, because he's a really good athlete, can finish around the rim. And when he gets that mid-range going off the break, oh, my goodness.
He's going to have some, 15 points, 6 assists, 3 steal games.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's not going to be – honestly, it's not going to be far from what he averages, I'm willing to bet.
I was going to say he might average that shit, honestly. He's going to touch the ball a lot this year.
What do you think – what are you looking at for the Bucks offense?
Yeah, I love the faster pace. AJ Green is a vibe. I think that Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Bobby, Miles, they're going to let it fly. Those boys are going to be gunning. I I do like the idea of getting Kevin Porter Jr. downhill. He seemed to be better. We talked about that last year, especially late when the Bucks went on their run. I believe you were the one that brought it up, that him going downhill is a much better scenario for the Bucks when he's going towards the rim. Yep. Obviously, having Giannis just being able to attack the middle of the defense every single play, having that as a threat, he's easily one of the top 5 scariest transition players in NBA history. Probably top 3, maybe top 1 in some people's minds when you think about it. Wemby might have something to say for that in the next couple of years. I'll just say that guy is incredible. Prime LeBron was pretty terrifying. Magic Johnson was pretty terrifying. But there's some guys that have been pretty nasty on the break. But
just on your point of getting downhill, I want to throw Cole Anthony in there because he's doing a really good job of getting to the rim. I remember when it was training camp was first starting, and Doc made a comment that Cole Anthony was living in the paint, and people were like, "Oh, well, that's so much for Giannis and Turner's defense in the paint." And then we're watching preseason games, and Cole Anthony's getting to the paint constantly.
He's pretty fast.
So I think there needs to be a little bit of respect there.
I like the potential of Ryan Rollins with Cole Anthony. I think their games kind of bounce off each other a little bit, man.
Do you want to use that as a transition? Because I have something I want to say about the three of them.
Yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to the defensive side.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think, and people aren't going to like this either, I think Doc Rivers has a pretty good handle on how this team is going to run. Mm-hmm. We didn't know this when Adrian Griffin got fired a year and a half ago. Or a season and a half ago, that Doc Rivers, we didn't really get to see what his full vision looked like, and I think we're seeing it now, especially with a younger team. I think he's got people bought in, and the 3 guys between Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins, and Cole Anthony are bought into the fact that the 3 of them are going to be rotating into basically 2 positions, kind of 1.5 positions, but they're going to play together a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're bought into the fact that they're going to defend 94 feet. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be games where they get into some foul trouble and that there's 2 more guys that can play their position. Mm-hmm. I think all 3 of them are bought into that.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. They're expending a lot of energy to defend full court. And the goal of this is to make the opposing team use up a bunch of the shot clock.
Yeah.
So we're seeing this is going to be very interesting. We're seeing the Bucks basically making it so that 6 to 8 seconds are gone off the shot clock before a team is getting into their offensive set. And then on the flip side, we're seeing the Bucks shooting 5 seconds into the shot clock.
Yeah.
The pace is going to be wildly different. Like, I legit think we're going to have a Badger basketball situation where they go from one of the slower paces, even though they have good transition players, to holy shit, this team is scoring a lot more because they're playing so many more possessions because they're playing faster. Mm-hmm. And I could see Mike is in the back room and he's very excited about it because we all loved the way the Badgers basketball played last season.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about them next week, huh?
Next week, yeah. So what do you think about what the Bucks defense is going to look like?
Yeah, being able to switch every single screen. I mean, having drop coverage as something in your back pocket to be able to use as a tool is literally all Bucks fans have wanted for the last 3 years. It's a great tool to be able to have and break out and have people understand. But putting pressure on the ball, which is something, again, that we talked about last year. We've been talking about all these things, and they're finally coming to fruition. I mean, we're already talking about people that they're signing. Like, I talked about Gary Trent Jr., you talked about Miles Turner. Somebody from Milwaukee is listening to us because they're taking all our ideas. Now,
Jon Horst, big fan of the show.
Big fan of the show. You can come on anytime you want, John.
2 years from now, we're going to have fucking Anthony Davis.
That would be insane, dude. But, pressuring the ball and allowing, and being able to have the big guys be able to switch. I mean, everybody saw the highlight of Giannis going at Shea last night. That is the style of defense the Bucks are playing.
Hell yeah.
That first of all, that keeps everybody locked in on both sides of the ball. So when you're on the court, you're locked in. I also think, now this goes to a guy who's coming off the bench this year who was very unpopular last year. This is much better for Kyle Kuzma.
Mm-hmm. Both sides of the ball, to be honest with you.
Yes. So Kyle Kuzma has to stay locked in on defense because we're playing pressure and then playing fast. He doesn't have to set up for a shot. He can go to the rim.
Yeah. And
that's
the thing
exactly
is,
what
if he's in the second unit, he can grab a defensive rebound and go.
and push. And he was actually pretty decent when he was doing that last year.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro, I think Doc is figuring shit out.
This Bucks team is younger. They still have length because that was really when the transition happened. They just had a bunch of length. Remember with John Henson and all them, right? Back in the day. John Henson, dude. He shot all lefty hooks. Showing my age right there. My fault.
Yeah, settle down.
But pushing the pace is just so much better for this team. I think this Bucks team is going to surprise some people. I really do.
Well, with that, then let's do a couple record predictions. Head and heart. What do you think the Bucks record is going to be from the head?
I didn't know if I wanted to put this for the head because I was like, oh, things could go bad if a couple things happen. But I'm an optimistic person overall. We're optimistic about our teams. I have 50-32 from the head.
Ah, me too.
Nice. I almost went with 48. That was my. I was like, they'll be around 48-50.
I think if Giannis was playing the game by himself, the Bucks would be able to finish 500.
Okay, that's fair.
Wisconsin Sports on the go with Treg said, Badger basketball has got me jacked. Can't wait. I've read Kuz has put in some work this offseason, looking a lot better. And if he plays scrap, he could be a huge piece. Love Miles Turner to ability to stretch the floor, but also get downhill.
You know, he just gave me an idea. Why doesn't Kyle Kuzma just turn into 6'9" Pat Connaughton? That's a perfect role for him. I mean, think about it. Just a sometimes three-pointer, play some defense, grab some rebounds, push the pace every once in a while.
2 assists a game.
Yeah, that's a great role for him. Just turn into 6'9" Pat Connaughton.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold the phone on a little bit of stuff with Miles Turner because he's coming up in another segment too. Spoiler alert. So record prediction from the heart.
55-27.
You dirty dog.
You know what you have?
That's exactly what I have.
Let's go, baby.
Nice. All right, well done. Mike, pressure's on you next week for Badger basketball record predictions then.
Yeah, I guess Tyler and I are just in sync, dude. Well, we've been doing a lot of pop-up lives, man. We're really
true. That's true. We have been live a lot lately. All right. 3 bold predictions. Give me your first one.
All right. Well, I apologize. My first one does involve Miles Turner. So I'm strictly going off of vibes where Miles Turner said that Giannis is going to change his life. Miles Turner will make an all-NBA team. Now, for this to happen, he would need to average around 22 to 25 points, 10 to 12 rebounds, probably around 3 blocks, and shoot over 40% from 3. He's going to have a lot of room. So if he's shooting more, we're playing a faster pace. Rebounding is a very important stat in basketball. It's going to be whoever gets there. And blocking the shot, it's going to be him and Giannis, obviously. I mean, Cole Anthony had a really nice one last night too, but
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I went a different route, but still similar with Miles Turner. Cody said more wins than Halliburton's baseball jersey. Yeah. I have for one of mine that Miles Turner is an all-star and is first-team All-NBA defense.
Oh.
Miles Turner, in the limited preseason action that we've seen of him, he is an eraser.
Yeah.
In the paint. Like when you know we talked you talked about the defense and they're being able to play more ball pressure and have more switching and stuff like that. When guys occasionally do get by, Miles Turner is just back there blocking everything.
Yep.
I legit think he's going to average close to 3 blocks a game.
I do too.
So my first bold prediction is Miles Turner all-star and first team all defense.
I would love that.
All right.
That would make getting rid of Dame worth it the first year.
Yeah. All right. Give me your next one.
All right. I'll save that one. That one's a Giannis one. I had to do a Giannis one. That just makes sense, right?
All right.
The Bucks will finish the season with the number 2 seed in the East. That's actually a bold prediction because a lot of people are predicting them in like the 6th seed.
Yeah, which they did last year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the teams that people are predicting to finish above the Bucks, there's not a lot of continuity in the East, to be honest with you.
Hawks.
The Cavs and the Knicks are really the only 2 that are the same.
Yep.
The Celtics made a ton of changes. The Hawks made a ton of changes. The Raptors made a bunch of changes. Like,
yeah,
there's not a lot of teams that are looking the same.
I mean, the Magic are pretty much the same. People are predicting them to be pretty good.
They traded for Desmond Bane.
Yeah, that'll be a good trade for them, though.
And they lost Cole Anthony.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's obviously a very optimistic world, and that makes it bold to be that, but there's a world where I can see that happening.
Oh, yeah.
All right. My next one, AJ Green leads the NBA in 3-point attempts.
Hell yeah, dude. Honestly, I don't want that to be a bold prediction. I want that to be something that actually happens.
I just want that to be true.
Yeah.
That should be a goal, not a bold prediction. That should be the goal.
Yeah, that's a goal, yeah.
All right, give me your last one.
Giannis will average a career high in points, which his career high in points is 31.1. Rebounds, his career high in rebounds is 13.6. Assists, his career high in assists is 6.8. And free throw percentage, which his career high is 77%. I had to put, dude, all the other stuff, I was like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I was like, I got to make this bold, dude. So I put free throw percentage on there. I was like, no, that's bold.
That is bold. And honestly, I think the assist is bold just because the Bucks have 3-point guards.
That's fair. Giannis, yeah, you're
right. My last one is that the Bucks lead the NBA in 3-point attempts and percentage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, they're going to run and gun, dude.
Dude, I'm so excited to see what they look like.
Every once in a while, they're going to shoot a three, and you'll be like, not a great shot. Then they're going to shoot it again. It's going to go in. You'll be like, hell yeah, dude, let's go.
Yeah. They're letting it fly. We're going to the let it fly days and pouring gasoline on it.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be like, let it fly early and often.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to watch Gary Trent Jr. just fucking jack up 10 threes, fucking make 7 of them, dude. Oh. Dude,
and we haven't even really talked about the court vision of Cole Anthony. Dude made a cross-court pass the other day.
I know.
Like doing shit that we see Giannis do. And then we're like, wow, his court vision is actually really good, and people don't give him credit for it.
Right.
So, very, very intrigued about what this Bucks team can do. So, 1 week away from Milwaukee Bucks season. Other than that, we have a transition going from Bucks to Badgers. So we'll throw out that next Wednesday we're going to do our Badgers basketball primer, and we're going to discuss the incoming transfers, the departures for that as well. We'll let Mike shine on the recruiting front, and we'll give our record and bold predictions for that as well next Wednesday ahead of their start on November 3rd. So, Mike, welcome in. And we're going to jump into the Badgers football recap against Iowa again. We talked about this last week. We are abbreviating our Badgers football coverage to one takeaway from our aspects on the recap and then one goal for the upcoming game for the preview part. Just because, like I said, we want to make sure that we are devoting our time to where it's deserved. Again, if we were full-time working on the show, we'd continue fleshing out Badgers football. But right now, based on the on-field product, we're shrinking our coverage on Badgers football for the time being and expanding our coverage on Badgers basketball because it's deserved. So
a lot of 3-pointers between the Bucks and the Badgers coming this year.
We're just going to be get that 3-point hand ready, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry. I already taught it to my daughter. My daughter does this for the Brewers. You know, she does this hand symbol. I've been talking about that. I told her for basketball, I said, we do this. So when I say 3, I also taught her to strike 3 thing for the Brewers. So,
Treg, we'll get this one out of the way quick. This will be a quick segment, unfortunately. Hopefully it's not the case next season and we have more exciting things to talk about. But
yeah.
Jake, what's your takeaway from the offensive line?
Just more missed blocks, more missed assignments, honestly. I looked up the pass block and run blocking rankings, and I'm sorry that I have to say this out loud, but they are ranked 53rd in pass blocking rating, which you're like, oh, that's pretty bad, until you hear the run blocking rating, and you're like, oh, wait, maybe they are good at pass blocking because they rank 99th in run blocking.
Yeah.
How far they have fallen from the graces of being O-line U. That's all I got to say.
And they looked decent against Michigan.
Yep.
The back and forth is crazy.
Yeah.
Trey said Dylan Jones had a great game, ran hard. That's about it. Mike, how did you feel about the run game?
That's the only point I was really going to make. No, you could definitely tell if there was one bright spot about this game in general. Dylan Jones, I thought, brought another extra level, I think, in comparison to how he's played so far this year. He ran hard, man. I mean, and a lot of it was credit to him with, yards after contact as well. I mean, he averaged 4.3 yards a carry, 16 carries, 69 yards, but some of those runs were tough. He ran over a couple linebackers here and there, and, he could tell he was a man on a mission, man. He wanted to prove a point that, hey, yes, I'm still here no matter what, how this team is doing. Like, I'm still going to give it my all. So, I mean, we can all obviously appreciate that given the current, status of the program now with how far down it's gone. I think it has hit, rock bottom now, unfortunately, and we can talk about that later on. But, Dylan Jones, I thought showed why he was running back number one going into this year ultimately. And, it was great to see.
Yeah. Looking at the passing game, Hunter Simmons finished 8 of 21. I will say his first interception was kind of on the offensive line, but his second interception was absolutely telegraphed.
Yeah.
And that's really all I had to say about it. It was rough. Trey said, I didn't think rock bottom was lower than rock bottom, but we found it. How do you have an off season where everything is going off? That 42-10 loss last year, 42 push-ups, 4-second holds, then 2 seconds. Rebuild the defensive line in this performance. You give coaching and on the field.
The end of the day, when you're losing 75-10 against one of your rivals in 2 years, that's a problem. That's a problem because Iowa, number one, shouldn't be scoring that many points. Not that the offense really did in this game. The offense did many favors because there was a couple times where in those interceptions for one that we did give some short field. But I mean, at the end of the day, when Iowa is doing this to you with scoring like those amount of points, and we're going to talk about the defensive side of the ball too, obviously. But when they're imposing their will on you like this, it gets to it. I think we have hit rock bottom, and unfortunately, it's going to look, I think, worse maybe this Saturday. But I do think after this Iowa game, we're there.
I think the expectation against Ohio State is that it's going to be rough. We went into the Iowa game like, okay, this is us versus ourselves. Like, they have the same play style. Yep. And to get blown out, shut out in your own building in a situation like that is obviously rock bottom, like we're saying.
Homecoming, dude. That was homecoming. That's bad.
You can go down the line, man. There is a lot on the line in this game. Yeah. In that game, there really was. I mean, I personally think, I don't mean to get too negative. I think this was, Fickell's last. I think this was his nail in the coffin. I think this game, just because of how much time they put into this game in the offseason. We saw the squat fest. We saw the 42 push-ups thing. Like, you saw Coach Collins with all of his clips about talking about, like, after every practice, we got 42 push-ups. We're doing certain, like, hang times with weights for, like, 4 seconds here, 2 seconds there. Like, they invested a lot of time. I can't stress that enough in the offseason on this game. And the fact that this is the product that you put on, I personally, I think this was the nail in the coffin. I think this sealed Fickell's fate for good. I know there's a lot of other things we can talk about that happened in the past, but I personally do think that was it right there. This was it. It really was.
Jake, how'd you feel about the D-line?
Sorry.
I'm literally just going to read what I wrote. In other years, I think this group might be looked at as underrated. Like, I'm so serious. Like, if you're thinking about other Badgers teams and you're thinking about position groups, like running backs were good, we've had good offensive lines. And then, if this specific group was on some of those teams, you're going to look at the D-line and be like, man, maybe this defensive line isn't getting appreciated enough. But to have them be the best and most consistent group on your team, this is the product that you're going to get. That's all I got to say.
I liked what Daryl Peterson. He had a decent game. I know he got called for that unsportsmanlike conduct, I think, or whatever, but he did have a couple tackles for losses. I mean, he was the one of the only guys, I think, out there, too, besides a guy like a Dylan Jones that was showing some fight. I think he was one of those dudes, too. that penalty that he had, I think that was kind of out of frustration, but he did show some flashes. He had a couple tackles for loss. I think he was, still giving it his all at the end of the day. So I just wanted to throw that out there since we're a positive show.
Looking at the linebackers, I was annoyed before kickoff. Tyrese Fearbry had a flag before the game even started by getting into it with some Iowa players before the game. Jake said originally he was okay with it. It lit a fire in the team. I mean, you looked at the first series. It looked like they were fired up.
Yeah,
and
it made me look good. Made me look smart for a second. I was like, okay, they needed to come out with some emotion. They were dead in the water the last how many weeks. I thought it was a good thing, and then
I wrote down that fire quickly burned out.
It sure as hell did. Iowa
did the entirety of their damage on the ground. I said it last week that I wanted to see more single high safety so that we could devote an extra linebacker to stopping the run, and we could have been playing with 12 or 13 guys out there. It seemed like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Mike, what did you think about the secondary?
Rico got a nice interception. Finally,
he got his first one.
If we're gonna go off positivity here, that was cool. Although right after that, Iowa's next possession, they literally went the whole distance of the field and they got a field goal right before halftime. So that kind of, I don't want to say cancel it out necessarily, but it did lead to that. But it is what it is. But no, I was actually. I guess I'm gonna talk about this when we get to what we want to see. But seeing guys like Kairos Gaines get out there for 20 plus snaps, I thought that was good to see in the second half. I think you're gonna hear his name quite a bit in the cornerback room. I think going forward, there's gonna be more of a 3-man rotation, depending what Deani Hill, if he's still gonna be out. That's another part of it too, because he was out against Iowa. So you're gonna hear Kairos Gaines, a true freshman's name, a lot going forward if he is still out. So just a name to keep an eye out on. But Tyler, you basically hit it on the head with what Iowa was trying to do, though. At the end of the day, they gashed us pretty good. Whether that's just a pure execution thing, or were we just undisciplined and missed gaps? I think it was a little bit of both ultimately, and especially in the second half, caught up to us too. I think that field goal right before halftime again kind of sealed our fate in terms of maybe even trying to make this game competitive too. But yeah, it's just we're in a bad place right now, unfortunately. But I think going forward, we're going to start to hear different names. Get a few more snaps. See how this Ohio State game goes though first.
And that's the thing, is it doesn't get easier. As far as the passing game goes, based on how the Iowa game went, I would rather see Danny O'Neal. I think they gave Hunter Simmons a shot because Danny O'Neal was banged up. But if Danny O'Neal's healthy, I would rather see him than Hunter Simmons.
That really I don't want to say it ticked me off, but it was like during that game, it's like, why wouldn't you put him out there? But honestly, I thought about this. I've been listening to podcasts this whole week, and it's like, what? At this point, maybe Danny O'Neal, and this is just speculation. If they didn't put him out there for the Iowa game, they really let Hunter Simmons go out there, have a 0.8 QBR, get away with that the whole game. I'm just wondering, maybe, Dan, this isn't just him. This could be other guys, portal guys are just like, hey, I didn't play past my 4-game limit. I can save my red shirt. Maybe I'm going to go in the portal. And I'm just saying, depending how this whole coaching thing works out, maybe he's just like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm done. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to lose a year of eligibility. I'm just throwing that out there because with how bad that was in the Iowa game, why would you not throw him out there in that game to at least provide some sort of a spark?
Stop the bleeding.
Just you got to throw something at the wall.
What about Billy Edwards, who's a senior transfer?
And Coach Fickle, I think he talked about it after the game. He mentioned, he didn't even know what the status of Billy was going to be going into this week. He talked to him. He mentioned 5 to 6 minutes left in the game against Iowa. Hey, when are you coming back? And he didn't really get a straight answer. So it's a lot of question marks this week. I know for they always have media days, typically on Mondays or Tuesdays or whatever. And once in a while, they bring out a couple players, and they didn't allow any of the quarterbacks to come out to get interviewed just for for that reason. I don't think that they're still kind of like up in the air in terms of who's actually going to get the snaps this week. I personally don't think we're going to end up seeing Billy Edwards at all. My prediction, I don't think we're going to see Billy Edwards this year. I just don't. That could lead into another conversation where, can he come back next year? At this point, given what we're dealing with the whole coaching staff and all that, I don't even want to throw out a prediction out there in terms of whether I think we want him back or not. I think we're going to find out a lot in the next week or two, personally. I think there's a chance. Yeah. Again, we can talk about that again.
What do you think about the run game, Mike? What's your goal for the run game?
I just wrote down, I just want to see more flashes, whether that's Dylan Jones, Darren Dupree is banged up. I think I doubt we see him this weekend. I guess they didn't officially rule him out yet, but I want to see more flashes, quote unquote. I'd love to see, especially from Dylan Jones. I think that was his best game that he played last week. I know he scored a touchdown against Michigan. I get all that. I just think we saw more hard runs on his part. He looked like a solid D1 running back last week. A guy who can play in the Big Ten, a guy who can be, I think, this next bell cow for us ultimately down the line if he stays with us, again, whatever. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but no, he looked like a Big Ten back, and I want to see more flashes of him hopefully this weekend against Ohio State point blank. So,
Jake, what's your goal for the run or for the offensive line?
Yeah, I wrote down I would like to see some explosive plays in the pass and run game. So Mike was taking the words right out of my mouth, and my goal, this is a massive goal. This used to be done by halftime back in the day here, but rush for 175 yards. That's my goal.
What did we get last week? Where were we at last week? Against Iowa, I'm showing 36 carries for 127 yards, but that also includes the receivers and Hunter Simmons.
Hey, rush yards are rush yards, man. I just want 175 of them. That's all I'm asking for.
So 70 carries for 175 yards. That's going to happen.
Dude, if they can run the ball 70 times, they're in the game.
Time of possession, yes. We will take it. Maybe that's why the spread went down from 28 to 25.
All right, Jake, what's your goal for the defensive line?
I wrote down, if they're going to keep this score respectable, they will have to feast up front. They're going to have to get after saying. My goal for them is to get 3 sacks.
All right. I'm not going to lie. Mine is kind of bleak, and it involves a linebacker quote, but my goal is to please stop the run.
Yeah.
It was my goal last week, and it was literally the opposite happened. But unfortunately, I agree with Christian Allegro. The Badgers have no identity.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with the linebackers, and then just kind of the team as a whole. So, Mike, what do you use your goal for the secondary?
Well, it's no secret. Ohio State's got 2 of the best receivers in the whole country, not just the Big Ten. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. So Rico Hallman's going to have his hands full. Emilio Agard's going to have his hands full. The whole secondary is going to have their hands full. Although, given where the situation they're at, I just wrote down take chances and take risks, whether that's press coverage or something. Because at this point, again, we have nothing to lose. And this is the one thing that I actually agreed with Coach Fickle on going into this week is that we have nothing to lose going into this game. You might as well just play your asses off and do it and just do what you can, right?
Yep.
So
try something new. Like, Rico, we want you to get drafted, buddy. This is your opportunity right now to go make some plays against these dudes, right? So he's gonna have opportunities against these guys because the Badgers at some point, I do think they're gonna get a couple possessions where we do stop the run a little bit, and they are gonna throw. They don't necessarily throw it a lot, but they do it efficient. But Julian Sayin will do it efficiently. So Rico's gonna have his moments where he can't you want to get drafted. This is the game to show us, you know what I mean? So I just put it down, really take risks at the end of the day. You got nothing to lose and hopefully, get another interception or 2.
Yeah, go for the ball. I agree 100%.
Yeah, strongly agree as well. All righty, we will be back next week, Wednesday. We'll have some more baseball games. Hopefully we have 5 more baseball games to talk about next week. and 4 wins in an ideal world. If that happens, obviously, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But next week we'll also have that recap and preview for the Badgers football team, again, kind of abbreviated just because of the state of the program. And then next week is going to include our Badgers basketball primer, like I said. So we're going to have the additions, the departures, the recruiting update, and then the bold and record predictions. So very excited for that. Definitely going to be a lot of information. Going to be a lot of film watching going on for the Badgers incoming transfers and lots of media stuff that was done. So we'll take all of that in and we'll relay the information to you guys next week. So thanks for tuning in, even though not all the best things to discuss this week, but we're excited for the Bucks to start next Wednesday, and we will be here. Other than that, tune into our show on Tuesday night. That's when we do our Packers recaps and previews with Simon and Brian. So tune in for that as well. And we'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good, fellas.